Welcome to my home. My house. My rules. Come on in. Kettle's on. Take your shoes off at the door. I'm kidding. You don't have to. It's a little joke of mine. It's good to be back. It's just how I left it. Yeah. Yes. Bring back a lot of memories. What? I don't remember that being there. Don't remember that being there. What is it? Was it they sell there? What? Oil? What? Petroleum? You know what we used to call that at the monastery back in the day? Devil's juice. Devil's juice. Yeah. Yeah? How's that? St. Non's rocks. My mother's rocks. So, mate, I mean, this is like literally like, this is where I was born. Well, I mean, obviously the rocks were over by the coast, but the monks brought them over here to display on the tourist information centre. I mean, you can still see the imprints of her hands. Like, it's really weird. I mean, also my mother had massive hands. See that? Massive hands. Hasn't really. I guess the massive hands gene stopped with my mother. It is weird. Like, seeing what the new, it's like seeing what the new owners have done with the place. Once you've left. No, I mean on the whole I like it, but there's a few things. It is weird. I don't know what that's all about. No, it's good that they've kept my mound after all this time. I mean, it's not the original. It's a scale model replica, of course. But it would have been a bit of an ask to have the brothers from the monastery, cart a whole mound over from Llandwy Breddi. Llandwy Breddi. Llandwy Breddi. I mean, 1,500 years later, I still can't say it. But no, that's it's based on the mound I raised in Llandwy Breddi. It was like one of my best miracles. So these days it's more of a windbreak for the picnic tables than a magic mound. There's a saying we have, Llandwy Breddi tea. No, there was a saying we had at the monastery. Llandwy brevity is the soul of wit. I mean, it was funny in my day. A whole millennia later, and they still haven't caved in to any high street coffee chains. 542 AD, we had a couple of Norman chaps over from northern France, and they were very keen to start up a little business they were calling sort of sandwich and coffee shop. They kept on going on about the monging. We weren't taken by it. We had everything we needed in the refectory, in the monastery's refectory. Yeah. What? Is the refectory still going? No. Get out. What? Really? Are they still? I thought they had to close it down because of the salmonella outbreak. Wow. Is it? Don't tell me it's still being run by Susan. Is it? Yeah, she probably is dead by now. But yeah. Oh wow. Well, we should go and check that out, really, shouldn't we? Yeah. I can't believe it's still open. Of course we had a cafeteria in the monastery. We're monks, not savages. Nice to see. Yeah. I take it as a little tribute, a little personal homage to the old patron saint of vegetarianism. Yeah, I mean the whole high street here. That was one. It was one big allotment at one point. Yeah. It was the veg patch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we grew everything we needed right here in St. Davids. Potatoes, rhubarb, leeks. Now leeks, we didn't before my time. They didn't eat leeks. Leeks were just used, you know, they just let them go hard in the ground, and then they'd use them to fend off the English. I tried to cultivate more of a culture around eating leeks rather than just bashing the. We still bash the English with them, but we held back some leeks to eat. We sort of had I met them halfway. You know, I was like, we'll the hardest leeks we'll use to bash the English, and the softer leeks we'll put those in a stew. Generally, everyone was quite happy with that. Yeah, there's always a few people say, well, you know, what's the point in a leek if you're not going to go chasing English people? But yeah, sometimes you've got to compromise. Yeah, that's the sort of thing we would do all the time. The harder the leak, the harder they fall. City Hall. I used to drink a lot of water, solely water, river water, predominantly, and I used to bathe in it. I used to stand neck deep in water. I mean, it got me the affectionate nickname, the Waterman, or the Water Monk. All the monks in the monastery, yeah. But here comes the Water Monk, the Waterman. Yeah, it's like very original, guys. Yeah, very good. Yeah, we always had a good laugh. And one day there's a thrift shop inside City Hall, Shop a Bobble, and I went in. I didn't really buy anything in those days. I didn't really buy anything. But they were selling a soda stream, and all the monks were raving about these gizmos. And I thought, all right, I'll try it, and I bought one, and you know, thought, oh, maybe it'll make river water a bit more exciting. Did it work? No. I took it back. It was disgusting. Porthatur. Yeah, I used to live just around the corner up there. That's where I used to live, and up there in the tower. We used to have like sort of Saturday night sort of disco. Sometimes we'd have folk night. It's sort of, you know, a chance for the monks to sort of let their hair down, you know, after a busy week, you know, toiling in the fields, you know, or beekeeping, or you know, maybe if we'd had a long vigil of silence. You know, we'd go up the tower. You know, it was like, you're heading up the tower tonight. You're heading up the tower, and you know, like I say, a chance to let your hair down. But obviously, of course, medieval monks don't have much hair to let down, so it was a muted occasion by design. Worked out for everyone really, because I wasn't really up for frivolity. You know, it's a bit much. There's a rumour going around that I haunt this arch, and I don't know who started it. For a few hundred years after I died, I did hover about in the doorway. You know, I just jump out at passers-by, you know, in the dead of night, you know, poo! It was great fun, especially, you know, like you catch the odd monk, you know, stumbling home from the pub, you know, great fun. I did on one occasion give Bishop Ethelman a heart attack. his face, honestly. It was priceless. Honestly. I mean, like, it was funny at the time, but then he died. So. Oh, I'm having a heart attack. Oh, I'm having. Oh, Saint David. Oh, you. Yeah. So that wasn't so funny. So funny. The original monastery. Wasn't quite so big. I had a little bit more modesty in those days. Pre-sainthood, yeah. I was like, let's keep it a little bit more lo-fi. I mean, I didn't, you know, it's great. I appreciate it, but it's a calling, isn't it? You know, I didn't ask for that. Let's just put that on record, all right? It's great. It's great though. It's great. Everyone always wants to know the story of the devil's footprints. I mean, you know, we had a bit of back and forth. We had a bit of, I suppose these days you'd call it banter, wouldn't you? Me and old Lucifer. We had a little scrap on the roof of the original monastery. You know, he was a bother. He was a bother, honestly. Every few weeks he'd be pulling some prank around the city, and I'd had it up to here. And this one night he's out on the roof. He's out on the roof, all right. He's pestering the monks. You know, he's lobbing pigeons down at the monks, and you know that's not on, is it? That's not on. You know, get a hobby. Get a hobby. You know what I mean? So I'd had enough. I was here. He brought me here. So I climbed up the drain pipe. You know, I wasn't a young man. You know, I was about 125 at this point. He starts throwing pigeons at me. Okay, big mistake. Hello, patron saint of doves. That includes pigeons. All right, it includes pigeons. You know, I control the pigeons. You know, I do a bit of this, bit of that. Let's, you know, spin them round, send them in his direction. Back at ya. Pigeons going at him. Frank here, leading the chase. The devil's running. He's running off. You know, he's calling my bluff. You know, he wants me to follow suit, but I'm not. You know, I'm an old man. I'm 125 years old. I'm not chasing the devil along the roof. So I send the pigeons. I send Frank the dove, and they go off. And you went off, Frank, didn't you? They chased him up the tower. You know, pecking away at his fingertips, and he dives off, leaps off the southern transept, and he lands with a great thud on the ground below the monastery, and he left his hoof prints in the ground. And to this day, you know, people always ask. They always ask, how is it that the devil's footprints are still seen in the ground and they're seen through a gravestone that wasn't put there until hundreds of years later? And all I have to say in response to that is, guys, we're dealing with the devil, all right? This isn't just you knocking about in your Reeboks, you know. It's the devil. I mean, of course, you know, how'd you get rid of the devil's footprints? We tried. Believe me, we tried. You can't. The more you dig down, the more they come up. So we're stuck with them now. Embrace them. That's what I say. Embrace them. Speaking of shoes, I do actually have a voucher that was given by the Women's Institute. I mean, I've had the same pair of sandals for over 1,000 years. So, you know, unlike the Lord, they're not very forgiving. Hi there. How can I help? Oh, good question. I suppose I'm looking for something waterproof. These can withstand a pretty heavy downfall, and they'll be pretty good in walking through wet fields. How would they fare standing in, say, a river for a prolonged period of time? I mean, how often are you going to be standing in a river? Pretty much every day. Huh. I can't guarantee. I'm sorry, but are we in the 21st century? This is outrageous. I mean, you could always try some wellies or waders. Do you not know who I am? I'm Saint David. Saint David. Does that not mean anything to you? Wellies. How could you have the patron saint of Wales walking around in Wellington boots? I demand to see the manager. Sorry, I can't. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, honestly. Honestly, I would never deploy that kind of power. You know, yeah, I mean, sure. I could get you sacked. I could have this shop closed down permanently. You know? No, I'd never call for anyone to be fired. In fact, I don't even believe in a sense of corporate hierarchy. I, for one, don't believe that the customer's always right. I don't. Why would we need supreme beings if the customer's always right? You know what I mean? So when we used to make honey, I'd be in charge of the operation, but I'd be out there. I'd be out there with the guys, you know, all hands on deck. And when I mean that, you know, we were literally handling bees with our bare hands. Okay, so I didn't get the brunt of it. I had a little bit of divine intervention helping me out. I couldn't say much for the other guys, you know, but I was there, you know, man of the people. So what the hell is that? I'm the patron saint of vegetarianism. What's that doing in my house? What is that doing here? Hey? You know who's responsible for this? Down there. Peter's Place. I have had a long-standing feud with the proprietors of that, by which I mean 1,500 years worth of feuds. I mean, it's probably run by different people now. So those monks left for Ramsey Island years ago. Just the utter gall of them to think that they could build a fish and chip shop away from the main street, you know, and think I wouldn't notice. You know, St. David, you know, Magic Dove, hello. You know who was at the centre of all this? Yeah, St. Justinian. I had them closed down a number of times. Yeah, we had a no fish policy at the monastery. Of course, then they started the black market cod trade. You probably heard about it. They were carting cod, you know, in the dead of night between the chip shop and the lifeboat house at St. Justinian's. Yeah, they dug a tunnel from the utilities cupboard in the kitchen, and it went all the way down. I mean, he was hardly disguising it, was he? I mean, having the tunnel coming out at St. Justinian's lifeboat house, you know. Here he is now. Here he is. Here he comes. Hello, St. David. St. Justinian. See your fish and chip shop still doing a roaring trade. Still peddling black market cod. My secret tunnel. I'd forgotten all about that. You'd forget your head if it wasn't screwed on. It's not screwed on. Never mind. No. Yeah, me and St. Justinian, we go way back. I had him under my tutorage from a very young age, up to the point where he thought I was being too lenient to the brothers who are going out drinking around the back of the bishops on Friday nights after prayers. I mean, I knew it was happening, but what was I supposed to do? You know, row them out to Ramsey Island and strap them to the rocks. You know, wait for high tide. So he rowed out to Ramsey Island with a following, and sure enough, one by one, he started strapping them to the rocks. You know, next thing I know, he's wandering around with his head chopped off. Got to say, he sort of deserved it. There's always a few miracles people, you know, want to talk about when you're at a party. You know, they always want you. They want you to break out the party tricks. You know, they want you to, you know, raise someone from the dead, or cure someone's blindness, and you know those things. Yeah, great. They're great party tricks. But really what everyone really wants to see is me raising a mound. Just remembering that moment, you know, when everyone's and they're all going, you know, oh, we can't hear you, we can't see you at the back, and I'm like, oh, sorry. Shall I just create a mound out of nothing? And there we go. I'm on a mound. And you know, the rest is history. What does the future hold for St. David? Well, for one thing, I'd like my shins back. Yeah, long story. So the Vikings apparently raided. They took almost my entire skeleton. Okay, and yeah, apparently my shins are on display in a museum in Stockholm. So yeah, I guess I'd like to go there and reclaim those. But I mean, you know, I can understand, you know, they want to take my skull, right? Sure, okay, you know, certain other parts, maybe, but come on, shins, those bloody Vikings, you know. Legend has it, William the Conqueror stayed in one of these B&Bs long after my day. Of course, back when I was here, all the bed and breakfasts were run by monks. I don't suppose you find many bed and breakfasts run by monks these days. In fact, I suppose you probably not many of the businesses here are run by monks anymore. I don't know. I haven't checked out. Could have a look, I suppose. No monks in there. Nice pint of tap though. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, it's just water. It's just water. Waterman coming through. Well, I've got to say, for a shop called Chapel Chocolates, not a monk in sight. But they do have some nice chocolate. So yeah, they also let you have free samples. That was an experience. 3 hours later, I'm going to give myself diabetes. Honestly, maybe that's what my calling is now. Maybe I need to dedicate my time to bringing back monks to St. David's. You know, because, you know, especially at a time like this when everything's about, you know, everything's about, you know, material possessions, wanting more, you know, more money, more land, more oil, more iPods. Really, we need to just strip it all back, and we just need more monks. Yeah, the only thing we need more of is monks. They say St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland, but who brought the snakes into Wales?